There is a single reason most real estate agents stay broke and their businesses stay small. My name is Jesse Dow. I am the team lead of the Real Agent Now Group, and we have closed over $400 million in transactions here at eXp Realty. And I'm the co-founder of the Channel Junkies YouTube for Marketing Agency, where in the last 12 months, our clients have closed over $1 billion in production exclusively from YouTube. And the number one reason agents stay broke or their businesses stay small is because of the number one excuse. And that number one excuse is very simple. They say that the market is too saturated. And unless you're selling real estate in a small rural farm where there's, 22 homeowners and there's 22 real estate agents and they're all doing one single deal, then truthfully, your market opportunity is probably 1,000 times greater than you can even imagine. When you look at a company like Redfin, who spends over $100 million a year to do less than 1% of the overall industry's market share, and their average agent does over 22 transactions a year, they're the most productive real estate brokerage per agent in the industry. It just absolutely opens your eyes to understand that it doesn't matter what you think. There is so much opportunity in our industry, and saying that the market is saturated or it's a red ocean and there's no room to grow is the worst excuse ever. And our industry is very disproportioned towards 90% of the agents do 10% of the business, or the top 10% do 90% of the business. And the reality is that after working with all the top teams, real estate agents, brokerage owners, I understand that it's the ones that are successful are the ones that are doing the day-to-day activities to see the day-to-day results that are typically high level. The one thing that they all do is they focus on the number one most important thing, and that's lead generation. Every day, every single brokerage that is very successful or team, it's not mandated that they start out this way, but they're requiring their agents and their team agents to make a minimum of 20 connections every single day. And then they track those leads and they put them into their database and they nurture their database. So those 20 connections could be through open houses, cold calling, past clients, or reaching out to people in the database. And once they get those 20 connections done, they're moving on to the next task. The thing is if you're an agent and you're like, man, my business really isn't where I want it to be. If you think about the way that you generated the last transaction, whatever that activity is if you did it 100 times over, you could probably multiply your business by 4x, no problem. The problem is we get distracted very easily, whether it's through the last transaction closing and you got money. And this is why they call it the cash flow coaster, because what happens is you start generating leads when you have no money or clients, then you get clients and you stop generating leads, then you close your deal and then you have no clients again, so then you're back to generating leads again, and then you just end up in this vicious loop and you can't figure out how to go to the next level. I talk to agents every single day with social media and they're always like, I'm not getting any results from my social media. And I'm like, well, how much are you posting? And let's just use Instagram for example. They're like, well, I'm posting like one reel a day. And I'm like, it's not enough. You need to go at least 10 times a day. And they're like, 10 times a day. And we've come through this creators economy where there's all of this misguided information on social media. And the reality is your reels that you're posting, if you're only posting one a day, it's probably going to less than 10% of your audience. So to get 100% of your audience, you need to post 10 times a day. When you take a look at people like Gary Vee, Alex Hermosi, and the list goes on, they're posting 300 to 400 times a week. And now you hear them, they're like, I'm posting 60,000 pieces of content a year. And they have full crews. And the facts are, they know that it's the volume and the live videos that are getting all of those massive amounts of views. However, we're in the real estate industry where their audience is the world. Our audience is focused on one little niche community. So if you're creating content on social media, just know you need to set your expectations that you're not going to get these 100,000 view hits or your million view hits. And this is what can throw a lot of real estate agents off. And it's the same thing with like doing open houses, cold calling, creating social media content, is that they want that instant result. We live in this instant result economy, just like Amazon, where now you get prime delivery the day that you actually place your order. You want a sandwich from a sub shop that you absolutely love, guess what? You can go to Uber Eats and get that delivered. You want your Costco groceries delivered, you can get it delivered within the next hour. It is crazy how fast everybody wants results. And it's the same thing with going to buy and sell real estate, is consumers typically are in this, have you ever seen the journey of a home buyer and a home seller? It's like they're not even thinking about real estate, and then all of a sudden about 3 months before they go to buy or sell, their interest level peaks way up. They go through that transaction process and then it just falls completely off and they're no longer interested in real estate ever again. Actually, my first couple of houses outside of real estate, I didn't even care about the interest rates until I went to go buy the house. And then when I closed, I never looked at rates again until somebody called me and said, hey, do you know your rates, 1% lower if you do a refi right now? So when you were like looking for these instant results, there might not be a client that's instantly ready to take take you on as their, real estate professional. And if you are making content or you are cold calling, doing open houses, door knocking, is you need the right strategy. It isn't just like I post one video and that client needs to use me. It's consistent messaging over and over and over and over again. And when that person does trigger in their brain to use a real estate agent, it's because you've now been positioned in their mind as an authority figure. They are then ready to reach out. It's a different strategy than if you're doing open houses or cold calling for sale by owners, because in that world, it's just all about timing. It's all about getting them when they are ready to choose an agent. With open houses, they're actively shopping for client or houses, so you know that they got a high level of drive to buy a house, unless they're just window shopping. But nobody just window shops, that's just the smoke screen. And if they got a for sale sign in front of their house, they have a very high drive to get their house sold. It's just they haven't needed an agent yet. So depending where they are in their journey is dependent on how they need you. And this is why I say that you should be focusing a lot on your core business, which is your referral based business, is because 70% of consumers choose a real estate agent based on a referral. So if I show up in the real estate industry or I move to a new city, getting that 70% is going to be difficult. So I need to start focusing on the 30%. So the easiest way to focus on the 30% is think about the people that are less likely to use an agent by referral. And that is somebody relocating, which is why I like YouTube so much, because it's a big market share with not a lot of people that know agents in that marketplace. So you're relying on the person they're searching out information from, which is you. And that now puts you back into a position of authority. So when they're ready to make that purchase decision, you're the agent that has been speaking the message to them all along. Therefore, there is no convincing. It's like, come take a ride with me and let's get this transaction done. Then you close the deal. Then you put them in your pipeline, you nurture them, and then they turn around and sell a house with you. So that is exactly how this whole economy works when it comes to selling real estate. And if you're going to use that same excuses that the market's too competitive, there's too many agents, blah, 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 that's 100% false. When you see the top 10% of agents doing 90% of the transactional volume, that tells me that there is a massive opportunity for you to get locked in. The difference is they elevate and position themselves as pros. They're doing the necessary things to get that volume. And if you're one of those agents that doesn't feel like you are getting your appropriate volume of real estate business, it's because you're not doing the activities and you don't have the simple systems in place to accommodate that volume threshold. Most agents, they rise to the level in which they can handle the volume to. And it's like most agents, as soon as they add a layer into their business of support, their business grows again. They add another layer of support, boom, their business grows again. And you always instantly rise up super quickly. It's like, have you ever seen a boat go through locks in a waterfall? The boat pulls into the locks and then they open up the door, and then the water floods up the bay, and it lifts the boat up to the next level. Then they pull forward, they shut the door, they open up the next one, it floods it up and it lifts it up to the next level. That's exactly what happens in your real estate business. Is you unlock that next level, the leads fill up the pipeline, and then now you're able to now accommodate that new level of volume. It isn't the fact that the market is too competitive with real estate professionals. It's that you are simply not using the right systems, the right strategies, and the right processes, and doing the right activities to then go in there and be a competitive real estate professional. I see this happen outside of the real estate industry, inside of the entrepreneur space, and I coach at the highest level with some of the biggest coaches in the industries, and I hear it from all different professionals. Oh, it's too competitive, it's too saturated, and this and that. And it's like, dude, you're dealing with $5.9 billion industry or even some $1 trillion industries, and people are saying it's too competitive, it's too competitive. It's never too competitive. You might not just have the discipline and the mindset to then be a player in that arena, and that's very, much okay, because every industry is not for every single person. But if you are someone that's trying to take it to the next level, and you're trying to take those simple systems, processes, and elevate your game, and you want to take it up to a notch, reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, or even schedule on my Calendly right here. Let's talk about how we can work together and help take your business into the next level. Until the next time, we'll catch you later.